Hello, I'm back with another video. Sorry it's been so long, but been making hay, so gotta put some food up for the animals. Um, Interesting day today. 6/11. The upside down 9/11, as Jurassic Liars would say. I gotta come back to this this bloody table again. This double cross of Lorraine thing, the key, whatever you want to call it. If you're new and you haven't seen any of my videos on this concerning this table before, this is just a table that I come up with. Here's 0 to 10. Here's the Fibonacci sequence. Here's the set of Lucas numbers, which is the Fibonacci started on 2, and there's 2 more rows that I added in, which is what I called pi, because it's got the numbers for pi at the start of it. And then I've got phi here because it starts with a 5, and you can find the 1.618 yada yada yada, the number, the golden ratio, the number of phi from the 5, and it also has the 116 right at the start of it, so I call it phi. Okay. This table basically has two rows. We've got physical man here, and then we've got metaphysical, spiritual man, the spiritual side of nature. I don't know what you want to call it, but anyway, we've got two different columns here, and right at the center of it all, I believe this is a set of balance numbers, important balance numbers that pop up all over the place. This 1118 is referenced in so many places. Once you start looking at numbers, it seems to be everywhere, and not very obvious all the time. Right, so that's a quick explanation of this table, just in case you're new. We've got some totals down here which are important. We've got the 55 for the metaphysical, and we've got the 88 for the physical. Yeah, this is just these columns totaled. And if we look along the rows as well, we've got some interesting totals here. We've just gone up to the number 10. And so we've got some interesting totals down here as well. If you're familiar with Back to the Future, you'll have seen these two numbers before, and in Back to the Future everything revolves around the 8 and the 5. 1985 is the year of balance. So where do I want to go with this? Because if you check out my video a few weeks ago, I was talking about this 1423 set of numbers here, and in fact I was talking about this whole row of pi here, and the 1423 being Pentecost, right? This being a 5, not a 14, and this then being the 23rd of May. A couple of things I want to say real quick. Let's just talk about May and the other number that's important, the third month, March. Okay, both of those names have the MA in them, right? For Mary, for actually MAR, for March, but they're both to do with Mary, both to do with the merchant system. Okay, so what's interesting is if you flip between the Julian and the Gregorian calendar, March becomes the first month. Okay, so 3/1, and May becomes the third month. Okay, so 3/5. So there's a couple of interesting things there. The 3/5 and the 3/1. Obviously, I'm talking about the Hoover Dam, the year it was started, the year it was finished, 35, and then of course they've got another year when they officially opened it, which was 36. But I wanted to just make that point there real quick, that March and May are also a 3 and a 3 together, right? Okay, they were, depending on what calendar you look at, they're both the third month as well. Just wanted to put that in there, because this 314, right, of pi crops up. If we add 55 and 88 together, we get this 143, yeah? This is the Dam Busters year, Operation Chastise 1943, when they blew up a load of dams in the Second World War. You might have seen the film about it. What this set of numbers here also pops up in this row here, the Lucas numbers set right here, and I've actually there's kind of right here and right here a cross, a little mini cross, and I did a little, these add up to 8, so I, a double 8 there, but it's right here at the start of this sequence, which I thought, again, that's interesting. And the 143 here and the Fibonacci sequence adds up to 143 here. So this 143 number is pretty important, right? Well, I was looking at this. If you go to the calendar, the regular calendar now, and you look up March the 14th, which is Mother's Day in England, yeah? And then we've got May the 9th, which is Mother's Day in America. So we've got these mothers here, and the pi symbol looks a little bit like an M, and also that pi symbol shows up in Back to the Future yet again, right when Marty goes back to the future for the first time, and you have the flame trail, and you have the wire across the 2 lampposts. That's the first thing you see in that shot, is the pi symbol, and then they pan down and you see the 911 that that's talked about on a lot of videos, and then you also see the 811, this thing, which I've got in another video. So there's 3 different things going on there, which is interesting. But this March the 14th, now if I go, sorry, this is going to be a lot of talking, but if I go, actually I've got some bits and bobs up. It's kind of difficult to jump backwards and forwards. If I go 88 days, and I've got to try and be clever here. Hang on, let's start at the beginning. Let's go 55 days from March the 14th. I'm going to end up right here at the 8th of May. Right here, this 5-8. That's where I end up if I had 55 days on. I apologize if I get something wrong here, because I'm just going off of trying to remember this. So we end up right here. That was the long march. The long march, again, a reference back to March again. The Long March 5B rocket. Yeah, and I talked about that on another video. So we have that event right there, and that's 55 days on. Now if I go 88 days from here, I end up, I'm just going to have to, forgive me, I'm going to have to just flip. Let's drop that down, and let's, yeah, here we go, I've got it up. We end up at June the 10th. This is one day before, so we're right at June the 10th. So we are one day before, where are we? June the 10th. We're right before this 11 here. I'm going to explain why we're right before this 11. I'm going to explain why we're in June here. Because, okay, I made the connection that this was, sorry, this is complicated, quite complicated, but it's not that complicated when you look at it altogether. So I made that case that this was Pentecost. So this is May, right down here, yeah? The month of May, 5. So this will sum to 5, this will reduce back down to 5. So we've got 523, Pentecost or Whitsun. And if we go 37 days on from that point, we get to the 29th of June. So if we jump back now 18 days, we get to the 11th of June. And so we just went 88 days from here and got to a day before this. And what was interesting about that 10th was we had another solar eclipse, and it was, I want to say, I haven't even looked it up. But anyway, there was some reference to the Ring of Fire. I don't know if that was the type of eclipse it was, or whether, sorry, forgive me, but I don't know if that was the type of eclipse or where it took place in the world. I think it took place in the Pacific, in that area of the world where the Ring of Fire is. That's why it was called the Ring of Fire eclipse. But of course, the Ring of Fire eclipse is also the crown of thorns. Yeah, it's that thing that surrounds the sun's head. Yeah, it's the crown of thorns, the corona, the crown of thorns. So we had that event on the 10th. So it's the 11th today. This is going to blow your mind here in just a second. So 6/11, and if you listen to Jurassic Liars, JL over there, he's the 6/11 is one of his big dates, and basically any other days around, several days around that date. And the other date is the 4th of August, and we'll get to that in a minute. But that 6/11, well, let me explain. Because I've said before, I think this 7/11, and this reduces to a 9. This is, we're talking about, the Legs 11 event here, 7/11, 9/11. We're talking about, that day, the World Trade Center. So obviously 6/11 is the upside down 9/11. Well, if you go, take this 29th of June again, and you go, let's use this 4/7, but let's do 74 days away from, let's count on 74 days from the 29th of June, and you will get to September the 11th. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. You will get to September the 11th. So right now, this here is now becoming a kind of, it's becoming a very interesting date, this 29th, because it perfectly as I've said in other videos, it perfectly represents these two numbers. Yeah, if you add 1 and 1 together, you get a 2, and if you add 1 and 8 together, you get the 9. And if you add both of these together, because they're in the the Lucas sequence, which is a Fibonacci sequence, these two sum to 29. So it adds up quite nicely, this number. It references these two numbers quite nicely. So we've had some interesting jumps. If I go 88 days now from, I believe, this date here, let me just flip back down. If we go 88 days from, and I've got a whole bunch of them up. Yep, here we go. We end up 88 days from May the 8th. We now end up at that other number that Jurassic Liars goes on about, the 4th of August, right here. This was the day that they had the Beirut bombing, that great big, I guess it was a bunch of fertilizer that blew up last year, okay? So one of the biggest ever explosions, I think, is what they had it down as, non-nuclear. So that was, that's interesting that happened that day. Another big event on these days. So I want to do one other date. What was that? Oh, this is the other date that I wanted to pick out. The 2nd of April, right? Why am I picking out the 2nd of April? And let's just look at it. It's 88 days from the 2nd of April. So 4/2 or 2/4, whichever way you want to say it. But 4/2. We get back to June the 29th, right? So let's go back to this. So we're back to June the 29th from from the 2nd of April. Well, what's interesting about that is that this year, Easter Sunday was on 4/4. And this date here, this 5/23 of Pentecost, references back to 4/4. It references back because that's how they find, that's, you count 50 days on from 50 days on from Easter Sunday. That gets you to Whitsun, yeah, Pentecost Sunday, if you like, which is the day Jesus ascends back to heaven, and sends the Holy Spirit back to man, if you like. So this day here references directly back to 4/4. Well, what's 4/2? 4/2 would be Good Friday, yeah, the day that Jesus is crucified. So we're to an interesting day to come. 88 days on, we get back to, from that day, we get back to June the 29th. So, I mean, it's getting, I mean, I'm having trouble keeping track of, which way we're going here. Let me just remind you as well that this 4/7 is on each side of these three numbers here. And this number could be deemed, it is the sum of these two numbers. So these numbers, we're back to this center point here. And on each side of these center points, we've got the 4/7, which is the 4th of July, which is, I mean, you just can't write this stuff. It's Independence Day, right? That's probably the reason why they picked that day for Independence Day. This is about freedom, this 4/7. Either side of here is freedom. This is what everybody's looking for. Non-dependent on somebody else means that you're free, yeah, to do what you want. When you become dependent on something, you're not free to, do what you want anymore. You've got to do what you're told. You've got to get what you're given. That kind of thing. When you're dependent on somebody, you've got to play by somebody else's set of rules. So it's interesting that this whole thing, this whole rebirth thing I'm going on about, the two things on either side of this, the two things that we're talking about is freedom. And, this is why 9/11 took place in America, because, America is the land of the free. Getting the reference here, it's where people come to be free. So, and, now, you've got the A in the mer, America. You've got the A in the mer. The Adam is in the mer, in the merchant system. I don't know. I haven't thought about that. That's just, just thinking about that right now. But what other interesting things have I got to say about this? If we go to the 37th day of the year, which I believe is, oh my gosh, Daniel, it's the 26th, off the top of my head, it's the 26th of February. I can't really do much with the 26th of February. But if we go, that's the 37th day of the year, right? So the 37th day of the year, if we add 143 days onto that date there, which this day would be, like I said, the 26th of February, we get right back to this day right here, the 29th of June again. It's the 180th day of the year. So, I mean, what's interesting about this is it's not only the 180th day of the year, so we've got a reference to the 18, but it's also the 185 days left to go in the year. So we are back to referencing these two numbers as well with this number. This 29th of June, you know, to me right now, it looks like a very important date. Whether anything actually happens on that day or not, or whether everything just references back to these things, you know, who knows? Tomorrow we have another interesting day. We're still in these June days here. You know, we did the 10th with the solar eclipse. You know, that thing about being back with the crown of thorns back on top of your head. And we're running through these events again. We have the 11th today, which today it kind of is 9/11. You know, 6/11 this definitely references back to 9/11 through this 29 right here, through this thing right here. And we had the 5/8 rocket thing, which if you if you put a cross through here like this, follow my cursor, we've got that 5/8 right here. Yeah. And then we've also got a 223. What was interesting about 223 was that was Tiger Woods. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that was Tiger Woods' day he crashed his Genesis. You know, another reference to the flood. His Genesis vehicle. I don't know who it's made by, but he crashed that thing and broke both of his legs. His legs 11. He broke both of his legs 11 on 223. And I tell you the other big event that we had this year, which was the Evergreen, whatever the hell it was called, the Evergreen ship. Yeah, what was it called? I can't even remember now. The ever something. Anyway, sorry, it's really late and I'm trying to do this video. I'm super tired. So we had that ship getting blocked in the Suez Canal, right? That blockage, yeah. So it was 323 though, yeah. So it wasn't this. So how do you get? You know, I mean, I'm looking at here, and remember what I just said earlier is that May and March are both I mean, it's like the 3-3. You know, like we're going on about. You'll hear Jurassic Liars going on about the 33 all the time. Like here's your 3-3 again. The month of May and March is the the twin 3-3. And so that happened on March the 23rd. So we're right in this, we're in the row for March right here. And of course, if you were to minus 1 off of 4, you can get to a 3 that way. But what I'm saying, what I looked at here as well was the fact that this is a 14. And what number goes with that 14? Yeah, the 3. Here's the 314. Yeah, so if you're going to reference this 14 number here, a good way to reference it, if you're doing everything's referencing back to pi, oh look, 314. We'll use the third month as well. So, I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's just absolutely, the mind boggles at the amount of, this is the amount of times this 55 and 88 and 143 can come back to this line here and incorporate all this, because these are just, I mean, these numbers are not this. These numbers are produced. You you start on a 3 and you put the 1 on that is your next number, and then you sum these two and that gives you 4, and then you sum this 1 and the 4 and that gives you 5, and then you sum the 5 and the 4 and that gives you 9. These are randomly generated. Well, I say they're not randomly generated, but there's these numbers are not something that I've just made up. These are generated from that sequence, from a Fibonacci type sequence. And that sequence always Doesn't matter what number you start on. In fact, you can just pick any two numbers. It doesn't matter. You keep doing that. You keep doing the sequence, and it will always tend towards this number here, the number of phi, which is 1.618, etc., etc., etc. These two numbers here, these transcendental numbers, never ending or whatever they're, whatever you want to call them. These two numbers, pi we know is to do, at least if you, got so many bugs in here right now. I'm always plagued by bugs when I try to do a video. These two numbers, this pi number is to do with circles, yeah? So it's to do with cycles. This is the cycles that we're in. And a cycle is to do with balancing things, yeah? That's how we balance everything that happens in the world, is through some kind of cycle, yeah? And this phi number, the 1.618, that is to do with, I mean, they call it the golden ratio. It's to do with the way the world is constructed, the physical construction of the world. It's Mother Nature. Both of these things here, the 35, the 3-5, this is all to do with Mother Nature. Yeah? That's what that's to do with. And, at the center of it all, as David Bowie would say, we've got the 3 towers. Yeah, the 3 towers, the 3 city-states that control everything. The 3 kings, whatever, the 3 pyramids. We got the 3 legs of the Trinity. Right at the center of it all, your eyes are there as well, as David would say. And of course, right now everybody's blindfolded. I don't know if you got that in the Black Star video or whatever. Everybody's got the blinkers on, the blindfold on, and we can't see what's going on, So this is the center of it all, your eyes. The center of it all is that donut where everything springs from. The torus, that is an atom right there. That coupled with the, we've got the torus and the hyperboloid. Those two things together, which is the hourglass, when you see those two faces, in Back to the Future, when Marty's looking at Strickland and they're nose to nose, you have that vase shape. You've probably seen that in, just wherever, that vase shape from the two faces. That is the world we live in. That donut is the world we live in. I don't know if you're getting that from what I'm saying, but anyway. So some super interesting bits and bobs. So what we've also got coming this way is we've got another reference to June right here. 6. Drop the 0 out of the way. 6. And I'm assuming everybody's pretty familiar with numerology and everything else. 0 means nothing. Yeah, that's why you can drop the 0. Yeah, 0 is a symbol to represent nothing. So that's why you can drop that 0. And of course the 6 and the 9, they are interchangeable. So, but anyway, we've got a 1-6. We've got a 163 here if we wanted it to be a 163. Yeah, we've got June here. So this 163, let me explain what 163 is. 163, if you take and divide 18 by 11, you will come to 1.63, and the 63 is reoccurring. So it's 63, 63, 63, and of course 63 pops up an awful lot. If you're looking at, coded stuff. If we come back this way, we can also flip this to a 6. So we can flip this again to a 621. That's interesting because Father's Day, I believe, is on the 20th this year. So this is the day right after Father's Day. So again, when we're just one day away, especially, we're one day after here. So we're a day after with the Father. with the fiction, we would be a day before because the fiction is Eve. Yeah, Eve is the day before. So being with the father, actually that's a day before as well. So the 20th is the day before. But you've got to be careful. Actually, I'm saying that, but when you're talking about the father is both. The father is everything. So I don't know really where I was going with that. But it is just interesting that it's the day before, and I should stop waffling. And anyway, if we want to switch this around, so we've got 612 or 216, which is the 666 that pops up all the time. Yeah. 6 cubed is 216. And the other thing that this is the 12th of June. We're getting a little bit more far-fetched to get these numbers here, but we're coming across, and we had some sort of reference things happen, you know. The 5.8 rocket, tigers, and of course the eye of the tiger, you know. The tiger being the balanced, I believe at least. The tiger's supposed to be the balanced version of the corona. So anyway, we've got these things that are coming across here. So we could see something else pop up on these two dates. And so this date here, let's just go to the calendar and we can have a look at these two dates. Because what's interesting is these two here and these two here, kind of, if we look at the numbers with these, just bear these in mind, right? The 612 and the 6 and the 163, right? Let's just go to this. Hang on a minute. Sorry this is so long. I hope this is interesting. I think it's interesting anyway. Let's go to June. And so here was the 11th. But if we go to the 12th, which was just that little cross that I was just doing, we've got the 163, which is super interesting. And this is the 12th, yeah? This is 612 or 126 or whichever way round you want to put it. But that is that same number reference again. And I'm going to tell you something interesting about this, and we might as well just segue right into it right now, right? In fact, I think I've got some stuff up here for it. Oh, jeez. I probably won't get through all this in this. Here we are, $1 bill. Let's look at the $1. I don't want to look at this side. I want to look at the other side first. Nope, that's an old version of it. We don't want to look at that. Here we go. Here's the Big Daddy, and I'm going to show you some interesting stuff because I've been looking at this again. If you want to count down here, first of all, let's get this out of the way. There's 4 berries, and oh, actually, it looks like there's might be. That's difficult to tell. There might actually be 5 berries on that side. When I was counting it, it only looked like 4. So maybe I'm wrong on that because I was thinking I was getting. Well, maybe it was. No, it was 5 berries. Yeah, that was 5 berries. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it was 5 berries, and I think then the other bit was 8. So I think we had a 55 and 88. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I think it was the same as the. So yeah, sorry. Oh, I'm forgetting what I'm doing here, but this was 55 and 88 right here with the berries and the leaves, if you count them. Right, okay, that's one thing out of the way. This is Washington, yeah? And if you listen to Jurassic Liars, Washington is this, you know, one of the references he talks about with the Space Needle thing going on. The first thing I want people to look at here, I mean, I could draw it in, but you can just follow my cursor. This thing that he's in right now, yeah? This is a Lucy. That's what I'm seeing there, yeah? And how many references have we had to the Lou, yeah? If you actually watch JL, he talks of, there was an Ant and Dec thing that he showed, and it's got the other guy on it, Hollywood, I can't remember his name, does the cooking show. Is it Paul Hollywood? It's something like that anyway. And they're doing this little sketch thing, and basically he's going on about the 00 portal, right? The 00, which is the 8. And he unveils the 00 portal, and it's a Portaloo, if you can get that, yeah? It's just the 00 is on the end, the loo, yeah? So this is the loo. The 007 is the loo. This is the loo seat, the loo lid, and interestingly, I don't think I've got it up. I might have it up. Yeah, I do have it up. Hang on a minute. Look, watch this. Let me find it. It's right in here somewhere. I guess I was already on it, probably. Let's see if it'll bring it up without playing it. Gosh. Here we go. Oh, stop. Look at that. I was on the right spot already. Go back a little bit. Go forward a bit. Oh my gosh. Where was it? Right here. Look at this. I don't know what this says down here. Non-fiction. Maybe, I don't know. Here we go. Here's the loo again. And actually, when he walks around, when he gets, this is like when he's gone through. This is right at the end of the film. I don't know, reflecting on his life, or in heaven, or about to be reborn, before he's about to be reborn. I don't know the way you want to look at it, but he actually walks around in the sort of French classical designed funny place, you know. And he does actually go into the bathroom. And here's the toilet seat. I thought it was interesting. I don't know how I came across that. But anyway, what was I on? Can't remember now. Oh, it was the Ever Given. Yeah, okay, the Ever Given. I couldn't remember. That's the name of the ship, the Ever Given. I don't know why I couldn't remember that. I can't even remember what I was on now. Oh, the summer solstice as well. Let's look at that real quick. Because again, the summer solstice this year, I don't know if it's the 20th. It says the 20th. It might vary slightly. But June the 20th, Father's Day again. I just thought that was interesting. Just another thing on the list of interesting stuff. Slim Whitman. Oh, that was interesting as well. This character here. Sorry, I'm just going off on a tangent here real quick. Slim Whitman. I said Mars Attacks is a pretty important film. They have a reference to the dam blowing, and they have a reference to the Space Needle, and they have several other little blowing up event things in there. And of course, Mars or SARS attacks, and the MA of March and Mary again. You know, I mean, it's just, you know. But this guy Whitman, after we just had Whitson, I just thought it was interesting that this was the guy, the Whitman. You know, it's almost like it's referencing the Holy Spirit returning. You know, the balanced spirit returning to man. Yeah, and this is what destroys the baddies, the aliens. Yeah, and this is what the fiction is. It's an alien creature. It's non-terrestrial, right? It doesn't live on the earth. It's fictional. It's all, you know, it doesn't have a place of residence, yeah? It's metaphysical. So the thing that destroys the aliens is this dude's yodeling. And it's interesting, the two heroes of the thing is just the average boy and the grandma, you know, that saved the world. And that's the way, that's, you know, the reality of it. You know, the people that are going to save the world are actually just everyday people like you and I. If we can, I think it's called the Indian Love Call. That might be right, or that might not be right. I don't know. But anyway, Whitman toured with Elvis Presley. I mean, you know, the links start coming together. But it's you and I, through a change of like our conscious awareness, that's gonna, you know, change the world, you know, save the world. Anyway, where was I at? There's the Tiger Woods thing. I don't think we need that. We've got Lazarus, because the 29th, just whip back to the table just in case you haven't seen my previous videos on it and you don't know this, but the 29th of June is also the twin of independent. It's the reverse day, right? So this would be the 185th day of the year and 180 days left, and this is the 180th day of the year, 185 days left. Yeah, so these two numbers are twins. So, and we've got slightly more than 4 days between them. I can't remember why I had that up, because the Lazarus thing. There was another interesting. Oh yeah. Also, this is 3-7 again. Is we're talking about God again returning. You know, L. This is the day right before Independence Day. So this thing has to return first. So this is on the eve of this. So that was also interesting, and I can't remember if that was how many days were we talking about in between there. Let me look at that one more time. What I want to go to. Let's just look at those days real quick while I'm on it, talking about it. Because sorry, this is all over the place. So here's your 29th, 180, 185, and then if we go to Independence Day, it's the reverse, yeah? So these are twin days, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I guess you'd count that as the 5th day. But there is 3-7 right here, the day before Independence returns. So I don't know, you know, that's another day, you know, another day for something to happen, you know. Who the hell knows how any of this is, you know, destined to actually turn out. It's just interesting. So that was something else. I just wanted to, let's just briefly go on to this. Well, I don't really can't remember where I was at. Symbol for Phi, Golden Gate Bridge. I don't need that. Oh, we was on the $1 bill, weren't we? Bloody hell, Dan. Right, so I'll show you these interesting things with the $1 bill, because the first thing I want to say is that this side, so this is the Washington side, yeah, and basically Seattle as well it's all, you know, lakes and bays, and you know, it's heavily water, yeah. And so we've got the Lou seat, the 007, the Lou, the LOO, or the 78, or the 81, depending on how you want to write the thing, or the you know, so, or the 100. Anyway, where was I going with this? So we had the loo paper shortage. I think what we've got on the front of this bill here, of course, there's a reference to flushing. Is the reference to washing is to wash away. You know, this is what the flood did. Yeah, it washed away the detritus. The detritus. It washes away all the crap. Yeah. That's literally what happens with the flood. It cleanses the earth, yeah? That's the biblical reference to the flood, cleansing the earth of the unbalanced people that are in it, that are running the world, you know, the people that basically aren't doing things by natural law, aren't following, you know, the law. They're living by the code, you know, the legal code, which is there to be broken. And it's not a correct law. It's just a set of rules made by other men, yeah, which allows for a certain amount of skullduggery. a certain amount of ripping people off, and quite a lot of ripping people off. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked again. Anyway, this is what this is. You know, this is reference to Washington is washing. Yeah, he's number one. He's the first president, so it's only fitting that he should go on the first. You know, the $1 bill. So it's gonna get interesting because I think this is a Q or a 6 or a 9 right here, or if you look at the shape of phi, phi would be, I wonder if I could just write on this. Okay, color. Blue's fine, isn't it? Do I have to press them in here? I can't remember. What's this? Boom. Let's do this thing. Let's see if it, let's see if it writes. Oh my god, Dan. I'm not doing something right here. What am I going to do? Tools. Oh my goodness. Color, yes, that's fine. Whatever. It'd be better if it was green. Okay. Why am I getting a paintbrush here, people? Does anybody know? Pencil, draw a custom line. Oh my god. No, bloody Nora. Sorry about this, people. Technical difficulties. I'm a retard. I don't know what I'm doing. Anyway, what we got here is we've got this phi symbol, yeah? And it's also like a Q symbol as well. And I think the Q and the phi, all similar symbols, all referencing, you know, we've got several different references in one symbol, yeah? Man entering into the Vesica Pisces, you know, into the protection of the womb. We've got the place that the arrow is going to shoot out of as well, yeah, when you're born or reborn. And that Q obviously represents that, and there's also a, you know, slight variations with, let's just go to this picture here, because here's a little image of phi, how you would draw it. In fact, I think I might have ran the wrong way. You might start that side and come down, but it doesn't really matter. But this is also phi, and you can see it's not that difficult to get to a Q, or even just a regular Q from this, you know, which would be the backwards Q that we might have been seeing there with that little bit on it. It's not that difficult to get to these things, and of course here's the Hoover Dam stop sign, do not enter or do not exit, the bar across here. Again, it's another Q, another reference to the Q, another reference to this thing, which is a Q, or a line shooting through a circle. And then we've also got, watch this as well, we've also got pi here. Look, if I do this real quick, look. So we've got this symbol, right, phi, and then if we add pi in, right, here's pi, here, and then let's put the two legs on. There we go. Man being reborn from, man being born from the pi and from the phi. I mean, you know, I don't know. I don't know if I just, you know, am I reaching too much? You tell me. But anyway, if I could draw, there's that Q shape, and that Q shape becomes a 6 and a 9. You know, and I mean, it's got to be around that way. It would look odd if it was coming down here. You know, they've got to draw it a certain way where it kind of looks reasonable. So this whole side, I think, is a big reference to Washington, and of course DC, electricity. And so AC would be the other kind of electricity we have. So AC would be this side. So this would be the reference to the dam. And of course, as I've said before, here's the Luxor at Vegas. Here's the Phoenix rising from Arizona. Here's where the one comes from. You and I reborn out of the fictional system. Here's the 4 inlet towers. You know, this side is for the dam. And what's interesting, right, is if you go to the $2 bill, I don't know if I have one up. Do I have a $2 bill? How much is a $2 bill worth? Bet that's got a picture of it though. That's probably why I had it on there. Here's your $2 bill. So here's the founding fathers. So the guy that I'm going to talk about would actually be in this picture here somewhere. In fact, all of them, because they're signing the Declaration of Independence, yeah, on the back of the $2 bill. So this is 7/4 right here, that date. We got Jefferson on the $2 bill. Hang on a minute. He's the third president. What is he doing on here? We should have the second president, and the second president was John Adams. Do you see where I'm going with this now? This should be a video in itself. We're missing a president. Okay, so we've got the Declaration of Independence. Yeah, he's on here, but this is the back of this one, right? So the first place where we start from is Washington's head. Yeah, and then we must go to the back of the $1 bill, and that should be the back of the $1 bill then. Actually, I've got the list of presidents here. If it's going to show me, so we can be certain that I'm getting this right. Yeah, John Adams and then Tom Jefferson, right? Okay. Yeah, I mean, so the back of this should be John Adams, yeah? And guess what? I wish I could make this bloody drawing thing right. Let's try it one more time. Okay. Let's hang on a minute. Let's try flipping through here. No, it's still not doing it. I think it might be because I've got this on enlarged here. I think that's why it's doing that. But anyway, regardless to say, oh no, I've buggered that up again. But what we've got, remember that J on the other side? If we add a J on here, we've got Jones or Joan. And Joan is just a, you know, another way of saying John, you know. It's from the same line of words, yeah. And if you were to put a U here, yeah, un for one, un and a J, now you've got June again, yeah. So Jones, John, June, were all very, very similar phonetically, and I think they're all coming from the same sort of root, yeah. You know, Indiana Jones, yeah. Here's the Great Seal. Don't take the cup of Christ, which is this middle bit here. This is the cup of Christ right here. The upward, I wish I could draw on this. This is the X across here. Yeah, when I did that one fold, you got that X that comes right across here. You have to go back and look at my fold video, and I think it hits on this E. I can't remember off the top of my head. The A, I think, I can't remember. At the L, so you got L, and you also got, I think it was maybe the N. I can't remember. Anyway, it crossed on some interesting. I've got a $1 bill here somewhere with a fold in it. Oh, it was the T. Oh, sorry, completely wrong. It was the T. It was the A. So you had the at, or the at, or the 8. If you go back and watch that video, it's pretty interesting on the $1 bill fold, and you had the L at the bottom. That was it, the L at the bottom. But this is the X, yeah? The X is the hourglass, is the hyperboloid. This is the donut, right? And this is where you come from, right in the center, yeah? Right in the center of the hourglass. This thing, if you do not obey the rules of this thing, which is natural law, the whole system falls apart, yeah? You can't, the Great Seal, which is here with the pyramid, is the dam, you know. Flip it up the other way, it's the dam wall, yeah? That dam wall is Mother Nature. The true dam wall. What we're in is we're in the fictional dam wall, right, yeah? But the true dam wall, if you try to take the cup away from the true Mother Nature, the true way that reality should be, then what do we have? The temple starts to collapse, yeah? Everything crumbles around us. The same as in Indiana Jones when, what's her name? Elsa tries to take the cup past the Great Seal, yeah? Everything starts falling apart for them. And so that's what happens, right, in life when we take the cup, you know, out of where it's supposed to be, out of nature, then everything starts falling apart, you know. And funnily enough, again, they're in a canyon there. That's the what's that one called? I can't remember. It's the one where they go searching for the Holy Grail. Is it called the Holy Grail? I can't remember what it's called. But you know, that's where that's where we're at, right? You know, everybody's looking for it, and the Holy Grail is nature. The thing that people are looking for, everlasting life, is balance. That's where you'll find everlasting life, is when you have balance in your life. You know, everything will be right. So anyway, interestingly enough, they're in a canyon there, aren't they? They're in the I can't remember the name of the place. Is it? Oh, I want to say Tetra, something like that. Isn't it? Is it the place up by Morocco? I can't remember. But it's that again. It's a blooming. It's the clock tower temple in the canyon. Oh, you just can't. I mean, there's reasons why they pick these certain locations for these films. Right. Anyway, so this side is Jones or John Adams. Yeah, a dam. This is what this side it represents. This is why John Adams, is missed off of a bill. I don't think he's on any bills. He might be on a random coin here or there, collector coin, but he's not on any bill, you know. So that's interesting, isn't it? That we're missing him, and then we go, so number 2 becomes Jefferson, and then we've got Independence Day at the end of it. Just interesting. And of course, that's all within the $1 and $2 bill. So we're again the 21 and the 12. Just super interesting. Sorry I keep going waffling. I want to show you something else interesting about this as well. This video is going to be well long. My good English there. Where did I have? Oh, I got some pictures here. Look at this. So you can do another fold. Hang on a minute. Before I do the fold, let me explain what the fold is, because my pictures aren't very good. Oh, I've got to press the back button and it's going to go crazy. Come on. Flip back to it. Okay. Back. What I'm going to do, and I'm going to explain it right here, is, okay, so I've said this looks like the, you know, if you want to call it a reference to the Space Needle, if you want to call it a reference to the, you know, the arrow shooting through the axe handle or the eye of the axe head, or whatever it is with Odysseus. This is Phi right here. And so, as I've said before, the shield, I think, represents the dam. This is the shield, right? This is, I don't know what you would call it, you know. This is the breastplate that is referenced twice in Back to the Future, yeah. Marty does his Clint Eastwood one where he wears it, and also the Doc gets shot, doesn't he? Right, he's wearing a bulletproof vest, yeah. So this is this armor right here, yeah, the armor of God, or the armor, or the shield in which we're trapped right now. Yeah, we've gone too far into the armor, right? But this is what I've referenced before with the dam, you know, the Union shield. So I think this is a reference to the body of the dam, yeah. So what's interesting is you can fold this bill, put a fold line right down here, follow my cursor, and right down here, and I'm going to show you the pictures because this happens to fit quite nicely over here, right? And then you can get some more numbers off of these bits and bobs, right? So let's go look at that because this is interesting. And you also end up with an 8 at the bottom, and you also end up with, well, let's just go to the pictures. Okay, so this is the first one, and I'm sorry they're so bad. Oh my gosh, let's try and zoom back in again. Hang on a minute. It's just not. It's going to get fuzzier and fuzzier. So I've got this one upside down right now, and you can see what I've done. I've put them together, and this little scroll work piece here fits in quite nicely. And so I've just flipped the dollar bill upside down, and what we end up with, this looks quite convincingly like a 10. Yeah, we just had that 10. It's also a 1011, and that has its own, there's some interesting things about the 11th of October, and you could also make a case for the 10th month being December. So you get some interesting days popping up here. But we got that 10 there, and I just wanted to show you that, right? And there's the 8 right here. So let's go on to the next picture. And I don't know if I can, how the hell I'm going to do this. Let's do this. That's how I'm going to do it. As you can see, I'm so computer savvy. Okay, so that's it up the right way there. And can you see something? What I've done here is I've got everything lined up. So I've got my top line lined up here, and this will line up slightly differently. It's almost impossible, and I can't remember what the numbers were here with the leaves. You can count these up. I should have really done that before. But actually, you can actually count them up by just coming down through here with a line. We'll count them in a minute. But I don't know if you noticed this, and you can kind of see it right here, but these behind the one here and the one here, these, one looks higher, and it's a little bit of a fiddle to get it lined up just right? And we have the 8 down here again, right? But you can kind of make out the twin towers here, right? Let's go to the other one, because you can line this little thing up slightly differently. You can overlay it where, see, this one is here. There's one underneath here. If I had the other picture up, you'd be able to see it. But you can kind of overlay this over the top of the one that's underneath here. And we also get another twin towers looking a thing. Let's look at that one. I'm sorry, that's the best I could do. Again, let's enlarge. Okay, so here I've kind of lined the scroll work up, and this starts to look a lot more like the twin towers now, right? And that's with this lined right over the top of the one that, the opposite one of this, right? What we have is the spider web behind here and the spider's web behind here, creating that impact zone. And look how they're offset, and you can just about make out here that this looks offset to this. So now it starts to look more like the twin towers, which I thought was interesting. I just thought that was interesting that that's in there. Make of it what you will. Let's see if I can do the oh gosh, let's see if we can count up what numbers we had in there. So that would come, see, this part here would sit right on top of this right here, yeah, and it fits fairly good. And when you do that, you end up with 3, 1, and I can't remember what you end up with. Gosh, I could almost count it right now. I've got a $1 bill right here. Dear oh dear, Dan. Sorry, this makes for absolute rubbish. Yeah, so on the one side you've got 312 or 123. Yeah, and then on the other tower you've got a 2, a 4, and a 5. And so together, if you counted up all the leaves and all the berries, and there's a one hidden, that berry actually shows up right there. So you end up with, let's see, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you end up with 6 berries, and you end up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you end up with a 612 with the leaves up here, which again was that interesting date here. The 612 was an interesting date, and we'll flip right back to this in a second. So you end up with 612, right? Which was the date on the cross on the other bloody thing as well on the chart. And let's look at this. This is 202. Now let's look at both sides of the. I can't even remember what was that. Let's now look. What we have here is a 1 and a 1, so a 2, a 0, and a 2. Yeah. And that whole thing, that whole day there, was 202 days left in the year. Interesting. Again, super interesting that 202 now references 163, 163 references phi, everything re-references everything, you know, and so you're going around in circles, you know, not really knowing what's what anymore. What have I missed off of here? Two more things to note, right? This makes this 8 at the bottom, yeah, when these two are together. One thing I want you to note is that this kind of looks like a crown, and this kind of looks like a wave. This looks like it's coming in at 90 degrees. You know, it gives that illusion of like, you know, a section of something, like a section of apple, you know what I mean? And so you could do 90 days, and I did 90 days, and we'll come to that in a minute. So 91 days would be part of the year. And where did I have that up? Did I have? Yeah. So if you go 91 days, which would be a quarter of a year, yeah, because it kind of looks like 90 degrees. I haven't tried it with any other. Maybe it's a third, maybe it's, you know, whatever. But if you go 91 days, what was it? Oh yeah, it got us back to September the 11th from what we were just talking about, the 12th of June. So again, like I'm saying, you're going around in circles. I know that's a bit far-fetched, but I've seen that 90-degree thing before. Where, and it's right here, look. In the hoverboard, you see how the letters are like at an angle to one another? It kind of gives that illusion of 90 degrees again. And you may have seen JL's video on this, but there's some other bits and bobs in here that's, you know, kind of important. Do I do them right now? You know, he would say that this is the Space Needle and this is Broad Street right here. Well, the Twin Towers, of course, and Broadway is, I think it might be West Broadway. I'm not 100% sure, but there is a Broadway street running pretty close. In fact, there's a couple of Broadways because they split off from one another, running pretty close to the Twin Towers. You've also got this red double thing here, kind of reminds me of the Golden Gate Bridge. You've got the yellow brick road that he mentions, and as I've said, the yellow brick road could well be Route 101 that goes over the Golden Gate Bridge and up to Seattle, all around the coast there. Yeah, the yellow brick road being the coastal route, the sands, the Corona again. And then we got the, you know, this green of, that may be the evergreen of Washington again or whatever. But anyway, I'm getting digressing with the hoverboard. I just thought it was interesting. You know, I just seen these 90 degrees, and I thought, well, what? I wonder how many. You know, I wonder what 90 days was from there. And I suppose 91 is the closest you can get without doing points. Classic trance. Want some of that? No. So, going through all this stuff up here. List of where was we? So back to this $1 bill, right? So if you were to look at this sideways on here, this sideways on, this could be the same. Again, this could be the same $1 one sign here. This could be the side of it almost. I mean, I know that fan work surely should be sticking the other way, but you don't know if that really is coming. You don't really know which way around that's going anyway. I just thought it was interesting that it was there like that anyway. What else do I want to say? It's funny, isn't it? I think that's the Mr. Owly up there. I'm not 100%, but that's funny that he's right where those two things join together as well. Yeah, so that's interesting. What more to say about it? This side is the DC electricity, and the dam produces the AC electricity. I'm sure I've missed something off of here as well. Gosh, oh, that was, yeah. So anyway, the 101, yeah, that was the other thing. The other thing is, because this is in a different thing here, this is in the, I don't know what you, in the shield. You've also got like these ones that are in the circles here. So you've also got a 3-1 reference, or a 3-1s reference again. You know, all the same kind of references. I think maybe I've done this video to death now. I don't really want to go back through and highlight anything. Oh boy. Oh, the World Trade. Let's just do this one real quick. Let's see if this map will pop up. So I was just looking at a map of this the other day, because I was looking at the here's Broadway, West Broadway, right here, coming right by it, you know. So this is what I was saying about all these all these places that, you know, there's so many things that re-reference other places. You can probably go to Washington DC and get a lot of the same references as you can in Seattle, as you can, you know, in a lot of other places around the States. And, you know, so much stuff is named the same. But anyway, digressing, got One World Trade Center here, right? And then we've got the fountain here, whatever they've got. And then we've got the 3 World Trade Center and the 4 World Trade Center. And that appears to be it. And I'm like, really? We don't have a, you know, a 5 or a World Trade Center. We don't have a 4, you know, a 5 World Trade Center, or a 6 World Trade Center, or 7 World Trade. We just have 1, 3, and 4. I mean, I don't know if it's just on the map like that or what. I haven't investigated it, but you just can't write this stuff, you know. There's a reason why it shows up on the map like this. 1, 3, 4 again, or 3, 1, 4. So you hear people going on about pi, you know, and the importance of pi and everything, you know. It's amazing. I don't know what else to say, really. Gallium is is element 31. I don't know what to say about that. Element 13 it would be aluminium. So, you know, I mean, is there anything super interesting to say about that? Not really. I don't know. I think I'm done. There's the Beirut Father's Day. Father's Day was, yep, the 20th. So it's definitely going to be interesting summer for sure. Oh, that was the other thing that I didn't get back onto, and I think we've. Why was I doing the 16th of May? Oh, 516. Yeah, let's not do that. I can't remember. We kind of covered the August date. I did something else and I got to that August 4th date as well. And I can't remember what it was, but anyway. What's the scissors thing here? How much is a $2 bill worth? Probably $2. I think that's it. Oh, I mean, I don't know if this will come up or not, but this Henderson man, this thing on the bridge again. What day was that on? June the 15th. The 55. Oh, the 003. Oh, and I think I put OIG in, didn't I? I can't remember. I can't remember, guys. I'm so tired, and I've Jesus. We got Jesus in. Oh yeah, with the 74. That was something I probably should mention. Was Jesus was 74, and that's where we went. We went 74 days. Did I have the? Let's put the OIG in. Oh yeah, we had a reference to 31 and 14 again. Yeah, so 314. The dam. You know, if you know what I was talking about there, that was the guy that was on the Pat Tillman Bridge in an armored truck. You know, yes, I'm using an ad blocker because I can't put up with all these ads all the time. In the van, you know, in the van on the dam, and the van is Vanadium 23, number 23. So, I think I've done this one to death, guys. Tomorrow might be an interesting day. Something might, you know, there might be something interesting happen tomorrow, the 12th. Today would have been an interesting day, maybe as well, for sure. I don't know what else, you know, the 29th is coming up. That will be probably an interesting day. Maybe the day before Independence Day, the 3rd of July might be interesting. Yeah, there's so many interesting days. I don't know what else to say, you know. And then we've not even got into later on in the year yet. But of course, you know, I think if we're talking about balance returning, that has to happen around. Well, does it have to happen around about that time? I don't know. Who knows? It's anybody's guess. Everything references everything. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I think we'll just leave it there. So anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Hopefully it won't be as long, and maybe I'll have some more interesting stuff to say. Yeah, the stick man. The stick man is to be reborn. From Phi and Pi, from Fee Fi Fo Fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman. Have a good one, people. Alright, bye.